One of the things that I love most about landscape photography is when I encounter rare conditions which help me capture photographs that I know will be unique. Typically, every photograph we take will have some subtle differences, even if of the same identical composition, but I am talking about something much more than that. I'm talking about being out in those elusive conditions which change the landscape so much that you feel you may never see the landscape in that way again. For me, this was one of those days.
So as you can see, or maybe can't see, I have absolutely no idea where I'm going today. It's quite incredible conditions, really.
Normally when I'm out doing landscape photography, I don't see any other people, let alone take a photograph with people in it. But on this occasion I did spot some people and I had to try and capture an image which I pictured in my mind. I'm really pleased with the result. I saw potential to tell an interesting story, but due to 4 moving elements and thus a constantly changing scene, I had very little time to get the shot I wanted, and timing was everything. The moving elements were the people, the ocean, the dog, and a ball that the man was throwing for the dog. It wasn't your typical landscape photography shot which is planned and assisted by a tripod. This was all about instinct and reacting to a changing scene. I very quickly took off my backpack, swapped lenses on my camera so I could zoom in on my 70-200 lens and dialed in my settings. All I needed was some good timing and some luck. I was fortunate to capture this shot as the ball landed in the water and the dog chased after it. The waves rolled in towards the dog, which was running towards them in pursuit of its ball at full speed. Some other people can be seen through the mist in the distance, helping show how limited the visibility was.
The weather's been really unusual for the last few days. We've had a lot of thunder, we've had lightning, we've had a lot of rain, we've had some bright spells. And today there's some really unusual conditions as well. They're really nice conditions, lots of mist as you can see. And the visibility really is limited today. You can't see very far at all clearly before the mist starts to affect how things look. So I decided to come to the coast, hoping to capture quite an atmospheric, perhaps ethereal style image. And I haven't been out for a huge amount of time, but I've walked a reasonable distance just exploring. I've never been here before, so I don't really know what to expect. And although mist can simplify a scene, it can also complicate an area if you haven't been here before, so I really can't see what's in front of me. Potentially there's a fantastic composition 100 yards in this direction, but I can't see it. So it has its pluses and it has its negatives as well. But anyway, I'm going to continue exploring. It's really nice to be out. It's really atmospheric. It's just a case of finding something that sparks my imagination and wants me to capture it in an image. Conditions really can change so quickly at the coast. There was wonderful atmospheric thick mist everywhere. Now that has almost gone, other than out to sea in this direction. Everywhere else the visibility is dramatically increased, so the light is still nice. I'm still hopeful to capture some more nice images today, but it's also going to be a nice scouting exercise for me because, as I say, I've never been here before. But fingers crossed I'll still manage to capture a few more nice images today. But I'm quite pleased with my first image, which I did capture when there was a lot of mist. So I've got that atmosphere and ethereal look that I was hoping for. So the camera's in portrait orientation, and it's these furthest out set of rocks which caught my eye. They were quite mysterious looking in the mist. So I've been moving along the coastline trying to find a composition that would work, taking those off in the distance at the top of the image. And I think I've found that here. So hopefully you can see I've just taken these rocks at the bottom right of the image which point you off in this direction. Then I've spotted these other rocks just here which take your eye back to the right, and then there's another small section of rocks which point you back out to the left and over in the general direction of those rocks in the distance, and they point off to the right. So we've got a sort of zigzag shape, a Z shape if you like, going on in this image, which I really like, and the mist was really nice when I captured it as well. So I've got my atmospheric shot. I'm quite pleased about that. I think there's a lot of potential here. I wish the mist was still around, but there's still potential to get a few more nice images hopefully. So I'm off to explore and see what I can find. So as I said, I think near at the start of this video, I've not been here before today, so I'd really no idea what to expect, but in my head I could picture the type of ethereal atmospheric image that I wanted to capture today. And I had no idea if I would get that or not. And just as I was parking up at the previous spot where I took my first image, and I was talking about how conditions can change so quickly, I thought the mist was clearing, and it definitely was, but out to sea I still couldn't see a thing. And literally as I was putting my camera in my bag, off in the distance I could see this hill line just appear, and it really made for, in my opinion, a wonderful image. It was exactly the type of thing I wanted to capture today, so I very quickly moved back, got to a slightly elevated position, put on the 70 to 200 lens, took one test exposure at a fairly fast shutter speed, just to plan the length of time the shutter needed to be open for a long exposure. So I did that, quickly grabbed my 10 stop ND filter, put it on, got the shot, and then the hill line, the ridges that I saw off in the distance just vanished into the mist again. So I literally got it with no time to spare, so I'm really pleased about that, and that's the type of image I was hoping to capture today. Obviously I couldn't visualize it identically, but it was the type of thing I wanted to get, so I'm really pleased about that. And it just shows how quickly you've got to react sometimes. Landscape photography can be a slow practice at times, but at other times it can be quite hectic, so I had no time to do any vlogging there. But now, as you can see, actually behind me as well, but more in front of me out to sea, the mist is coming back now, so I can relax. I've got the type of image I wanted to capture, but I certainly think there's more opportunities now presenting themselves. But I think it's important just to stop for a while. If you're out for the whole day, just stop, have a rest, have something to eat, maybe a drink like I'm doing here. Just survey the scenery around you and try and work out your next move. See where you think there could be another good composition waiting to capture. So I'm just going to relax here for a minute and then see where I want to head next.
Control we knew we never had in a song. Your eyes telling stories when words were meaningless, so we fought for our time.
this really has been a spectacular day to be out doing some landscape photography at the coast. I've been really enjoying my time here, just watching the conditions change in front of me. The mist has came back in again. There's actually a hill revealed itself off in the distance that I didn't even know was there when the mist was obscuring it. So I've got my shot set up here. I've taken a couple of different exposures. One a faster shutter speed, around 1/25th of a second. And I've taken some with my 10-stop ND filter on just to try and smooth out the water mainly. That's the main reason for doing that. They've been in the region of 20 to 30 seconds, depending on the light obviously. But I've got my composition set up here. I've got some interesting land just in front of me with some nice texture on it. I really like the grass, and there's splashes of colour here and there as well, which I think just give a little bit of pop to the more muted tones of the mist off in the distance. So I've got the land running diagonally across my frame, and then I've got the hill positioned up at the top right of the frame. You can't see it at the moment. And then we've got the mist and the coastline and the rocks in the centre area of my frame as well. So it's been fantastic to be out today. I've hopefully gotten 3 nice images that I like. I'm actually hearing some thunder off in the distance. There is thunder and lightning, I believe, forecast for later today. So I'm going to get packed up. I'm going to sit here for a few minutes and just watch this. I think it's important to do that when you're out doing landscape photography. I think there's 2 reasons for being out. One is simply the being out, and the second obviously is to capture the images. So I try and always appreciate both things when I'm out. I think it makes the days more enjoyable. So it's been a pleasure, and actually when I hear the thunder rumble, the birds get quite vocal, and there's quite a lot of them starting to fly back and forth just past me in the coastline here. So I'm going to get packed up, appreciate the scene for just a minute, and then head off before the thunder and lightning comes. But I hope you've enjoyed watching. I've had a fantastic time. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in my next vlog.